What do you do when somebody comes to you and asks you, what do I say to somebody who's thinking about committing suicide? One of the first things to understand is that when somebody comes to you and asks you this question, they're doing it because they trust you and they place a high amount of value in your opinion. And so I don't want you to freak out when somebody asks you this question. But one of the first things that you have to think about when this question is being proposed to you is, one, is the person asking me this question because this is a thought that they're having? Or are they asking me this question because they know somebody who's having this thought? You see, because it's not uncommon for somebody to ask the question in the context of, I'm asking for a friend, when in reality, they're the one who's struggling with the suicidal thoughts. And so keep that in the back of your mind as you move forward in this discussion and you start talking to them about their question. So when somebody asks you, what do I say to someone who is thinking about committing suicide? One of the first areas that I want you to guide this person in is letting them know, encouraging them, making sure they understand that the one thing they have to hold on to is understanding that they have no power over another person's decision. They can't place it on themselves to be responsible for what this person may choose to do down the road. They have a heart for this person. They have compassion for this person, and they want to help. But you have to let them understand that if this person that's on their heart does engage in suicide, that it's not their fault. That this is something that the person chose to do, and there was nothing that they could have done to prevent it that they didn't already try to do. Once you have established these things, the focus that I want you to have, and the focus that I want you to help this person to have, is that when you are engaging with somebody who is struggling with suicidal behavior, one of the things that you want to try to do is to create a shift in a mindset. So I want you to help this person understand that their goal should not be to stop this person from killing themselves. Their goal should be to encourage this person to want to live again and to want to live a purposeful, intentional life that displays examples of success for other people. You want them to see the future. You want them to see the things that bring them joy. You want them to find those things again. And so your focus can't be, how do I get this person to not die? You want your focus, your mindset to be, how do I help this person live again? Right? It's not about not dying, it's about truly living. And so once your mindset with that is shifted, it becomes a whole nother ballgame. See, because when you're focused on, I want to keep this person from killing themselves, then you put yourself in a position where you get into this mode of desperation, where you constantly want to let them know, please don't die, please don't do this. Like, there's so much to live for. Like, you start saying these things because you're in this desperation mode to get them to not die. But when you shift that mindset to, let's live again, then your conversations with this person turn into things like, hey man, what do you want? Where do you want to be at next year? What kind of things do you want to do? What kind of things drive you? What kind of things bring you joy? And when you're dealing with a person who's depressed or is dealing with thoughts of suicide, it's going to be hard for them to answer those questions. And they may not be able to at first. But share yours. Where do you want to be in a year, 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the future? Have excitement over that. Share excitement with people about how wonderful life is. Share excitement with them about the beauty of this world. I know it can be hard to see sometimes, but when you shift your mindset in it, when you see things from a different perspective, there is so much beauty in this world to be had. And so when you can help that person see that, slowly but surely, you start engaging with them in a positive mindset, one that shifts their perspective and will start taking them down a road of more positive, future-minded thoughts. Now, I know a lot of this is easier said than done, but I promise you it works. You stay at it and you help somebody understand that it's not about not dying, it's about living again. You will see a complete change in their perspective and in how they go about life in general. Help them see these things. When they come, when you ask them, hey man, how's it going today? and they say, just another day. I don't know. Or you say, good morning, and they say, what's so good about it? Be prepared to respond with something positive, even if you don't think they're going to receive it. Just say it anyways. And the more that they hear you say it, the more you're going to be planting those seeds in their head. Because something that you also have to understand is when you're dealing with somebody who is struggling with suicidal thoughts, who is in the darkness, 10 out of 10 times they don't want to die. They just want whatever pain it is that they're experiencing to go away. And the only thought that they have, the only conclusion that they're coming to is that I just have to kill myself. I have to escape this pain. And that's the only way that I can do it. They don't want to die. They just want the pain to go away. So when you can take them down a journey of relieving that pain and showing them ways to relieve that pain, showing them ways to bring light and joy into their life again, it shifts the perspective. And suicide no longer becomes an option. The thoughts are more focused on how can I be more joyful today? How can I choose happiness today? How can I go forward with a more positive, future-minded mindset? I was on the phone with a veteran one time who was telling me that the girl that he was engaged to marry had broken up with him, and he was heartbroken, and he was so mad. He was dealing with so much anger and resentment that he said, I wonder what the look on her face will be when I kill myself. He wasn't in a rational frame of mind. He wasn't thinking right off the bat that he wasn't ever going to be able to see what that look on her face would be because he would be dead. So instead of engaging in that dialogue with him about him dying and what her face would look like, I shifted his perspective and I said, bro, what do you think the look on her face would be if you became the absolute best possible version of yourself and achieved a high amount of success in your life, and then she got to see what she missed out on? What do you think the look on her face would be then? Because you'd be able to see that look. And he said, oh man, let's do that. Let's do that. I said, all right, let's go. And we started guiding him down a road to find success, to find joy again, to become a better version of who he was. And he's been moving forward ever since, and it's beautiful. Provide a way for them to see a different perspective. Don't be the person that's going to continue to engage in and listen to the negative mindset. Don't have it. Be bold. Let them know there's joy. There is happiness. When they come to you and talk, they're going to hear joy, happiness, success, future-minded, how beautiful things are. They're going to hear you speak life into them. You're an amazing person. There is so much potential in your life. You have a huge plan and purpose in this world. You can change other people's lives with your story. By you overcoming what you're going through right now is going to give somebody else hope and encouragement to overcome the struggles and the battles that they're dealing with right now. You see, it's not about you. You let somebody understand, you show them and guide them in this journey of knowing it's not just about you. There is so many more people out here in this world that are depending on you to overcome your struggle, for you to be a champion over suicide, for you to be a champion over PTSD and depression and anxiety and anger and fear and frustration, for you to overcome those things. There are people looking to you to overcome them so that they know it's possible. It's not all about you. Be bold with somebody and let them know those things. Be that person in their life that will speak truth and will speak life over them. And if you continue to plant those seeds, you continue to be that voice of joy and of positivity, then you are doing everything you can to encourage them in a different mindset and a different way of life. And ultimately, if they make the choice to die by suicide, that's not on you. You are not responsible and accountable for another person's decisions, only your own. So be that source of light. Be that source of joy. When anybody ever asks me, what do I say to somebody who is thinking about committing suicide? That's exactly what I tell them. Now let's circle back to some of the first things that we were talking about here. One of the things that you wanted to keep in the back of your mind is, am I talking to a person who is contemplating suicide, and they're asking me this question in context of, I'm asking for a friend, or do they know a person who is thinking about committing suicide? You need to look for the telltale signs. You need to look for things in their responses and the way that they react to what you're saying. And start thinking as you're talking, am I talking to somebody who's actively thinking about suicide? And if that's the case, then you need to ask them. Hey man, I know you asked me that question because you know somebody who's thinking about suicide. But how about you? How are you doing? Do you have thoughts of killing yourself? Killing yourself. You don't ask somebody if they have thoughts of harming themselves. You see, because I've spoken to people who were suicidal and they were asked, are you thinking about hurting yourself? And their response is, no, I don't want to hurt. I want to die. So when you ask somebody, be bold in your question. Hey man, are you thinking about suicide? Are you thinking about killing yourself? And if their answer is yes, then ask them the question, do you really want to die? Or are you just looking for a way to get rid of the pain? Do you just want the pain to go away? And when they respond with, I just want the pain to go away, then you say, okay, let's talk about that. And if you can have a reasonable conversation, a rational conversation with them about this pain they're experiencing, and you can offer guidance to them, and you can bring them in and help them in this journey, then do that. But if you believe that this is something that requires a higher amount of help, then don't be afraid to take them to a hospital. Don't be afraid to call a suicide hotline. Don't be afraid to encourage them and to let them know, I will go with you. I will be there with you as much as I can through the process. But why don't we go get checked in somewhere so you can see somebody and talk about this so that they can help you through this process, and I'll be there with you at every moment that I can. Don't be afraid to bring in that professional help. Especially if it's a situation where a person is in crisis, they have a plan, they have the means to carry out that plan. Be responsible and be bold and help them get the help that they need, and encourage them and let them know, I will be there with you as much as I can through this process, I promise. And then help them through it. And if their answer is no, I'm good, I'm just worried about my friend so-and-so, then give them the same advice I just gave you as if they were suicidal. Let them know. Ask that person, hey man, are you thinking about killing yourself? Are you thinking about suicide? And if they say yes, do you really want to die, or do you just want the pain to go away? Guide them through that same process and let them know, if this is a situation that is beyond your means, outside of your wheelhouse, then be there as a friend, as somebody they trust, to guide them to the right resource, to guide them to the right person, to the right place to get them help. I would rather somebody be mad at me for taking them and getting them admitted into a hospital than for them to be dead and never feel anything towards me ever again. Get people the help they need. And in that process, help them understand that it's not about them. There are other people involved in this, and their pain does not go away upon their death. It disperses to other people. Statistically, it's something well over 100 people are immediately affected by a person's suicide. The pain explodes like a bomb. The second somebody commits suicide, the pain explodes out and affects everyone that they know. And now people who were thinking about it themselves are thinking, Man, so-and-so couldn't do it. How am I? People are hurt. It's not about you. There are other people engaged in this life with you. Let's make sure that they understand that. Let's help them see those people who are important in their life that they don't think maybe they are. They think nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me. Why continue going on? Nobody cares. Somebody cares. You're sitting in front of them. You care. At the very minimum, you tell them, bro, I love you. I care. Let's start there. I care about you. And if you committed suicide, I would be hurt. I don't want to go through that. I love you. I want to see great things in your life. I know there's a plan and purpose over your life. And I want to see that happen. I want to be a part of that journey with you. So let's go, man. Let's get that help. And encourage them and do all you can. So my call to action to you right now is this. I challenge you to be open to people around you in your life. Open your heart while you're around them and observe. Listen. See if there's somebody in your life where you get a feeling that maybe I should talk to that person. Maybe I should ask them. Then do it. You're getting that feeling for a reason. So I challenge you, my call to action to you is that I challenge you to open yourself up to your surroundings and those people around you. And see if there's someone out there that needs that help. Speak life over them. Encourage them. And if need be, get them that proper help that they need. And be a source of light and inspiration to everyone you come across.